Oh.
Sí, yo pongo esa punta y ustedes ponen ahí.
Hola.
¿Qué? ¿Cómo hacemos? Ah, perdón. Hi guys, welcome everyone to the Career Days 2017 edition. Very happy to kicking off this great event once more. Hi there. We have a lot of audience now in the room too here in Buenos Aires. And we have two great guests today. Two of the founders of Globant, Martin and Gilbert. They will give us some words afterwards. Remind that this is an event designed for you guys to really understand what it means growing at Globant, what are the opportunities that there are in this great company. We are doing a lot of things this year in terms of gathering feedback from you. We have made it a lot of interactive this year through a survey that you submitted. About 800 people gave us feedback. Most of you are interested in how you can grow, what are the processes and the tools that are available. So in all the activities that are going to happen during these different talks that you will be able to join during the following days, there will be a lot of information on how to keep growing and developing your career in Globant in the different paths of sales, delivery, and technology. Also, we are about to launch a new people site in about 2-3 weeks that also contains a lot of information and in a simplest way for you to understand what are the resources available. And finally, we're also working a lot with the leaders of the company. We have created and launched a leadership community. We are giving a lot of talks. We are giving a lot of trainings and helping our leaders to develop themselves. And why is this important for you? Because the leaders are a very important part for your career. They are the partners that you need to keep growing at the company. So with this, I'm kicking off the event for this year. We have Gilbert and Martin, and one final point is that if you want to grow in a career in a company, you need to understand where the company is going, where it's heading, what are the values, because it is important that you are aligned to those values and those beliefs, and that you really fit that you can be successful at the company. So I'm handling to Martin, so he can tell you what is Globant right now, what is going, and then we can start having more a dialogue as well.
Thank you very much, Guille. Thank you very much to everyone joining us through the streaming, and to all of you coming here. I think it's great. It means one thing. It means that you are really interested in the future of your, work at Globant, in your own career. So that's really amazing, and I'm very excited to be here. So with this, I'd like to kick off, some concepts about where Globant is going, what we're building, and also I would like to transmit you what I think is the career at Globant and why it's different from many other places, and what's in it for you. And then I will ask Gilbert to make a more interactive session and questions and open it up. As you may know, Globant is outperforming every single company on the professional service space out there. And there's a reason for that. The reason for that is, first, you, the talent that made Globant. The second reason for that is that we are organized in a way that really makes a difference for our customers, and our customers are really understanding that and buying that, and that reflects in how we perform in the market, how we outperform the rest of the companies in the public space, and that's really very important. I mean, that's a huge achievement, even more starting the company in a place like this. So we would say that we are the owners of our own future. I mean, we don't depend. I mean, decisions are being taken here, in this room or in that room over there. So we decide pretty much every single aspect of our company, for good or for bad, but we design it, and we decide it. And that's I would say, is a great position to be. So one thing is important about that is that our positioning and the fact that Globant is a company that sees the world in a totally different way is one of the most important things for your career. How we see the world. We see the world in a way that as a constant evolution of things happening, from the smartphone 10 years ago to the cognitive and artificial intelligence revolution that is happening now, and we don't have the bags on the backpacks on our backs of any other thing to do. We're not like any other company out there. There are IT outsourcers that has forever been on the game of, playing the traditional IT game, like implementing ERPs or doing business process. Sorry about that. Doing business process outsourcing or doing service desk games or whatever. I mean, we are a company which are 100% dedicated to create amazing journeys, digital journeys, or digital transformation projects, or digital products to connect emotionally with millions of consumers. And that's the only thing we do. And now, with the new artificial intelligence revolution, we are playing a big role on that new game. And we'll play a big role on that new game. And I expect each of you to have a knowledge, at least basic knowledge, around how artificial intelligence could help the work that you do every single day. ¿Estoy hablando en inglés por alguna razón? Boludo. Oh, we have people from, okay. So here everybody understands Spanish. Okay, great. Sorry. Yeah, no, thank you. Un momento me pregunté por qué mierda estaba hablando en inglés. No, I cannot do that. So this is our positioning. So what's the meaning of working in Globant? Working in Globant means to maintain your career relevant. Why? Because each project we have is one very important customer, that is on the bleeding edge of the next generation of interactions with consumers, because we have the best possible brands, because we have the best possible team doing what we do. So it's about your career to be relevant. And this is why it's important, what we do at Globant. Because it's transforming the business into the next generation business of every single customer that we have. So this is what we do. This is why I think is important for you. And what I understand for career. So there's an attitude that we always expect from our Globers. And I always say that careers at Globant are for those that are interested in their careers. That's the number one thing. We won't spend money, and this is what I always tell to Guille, Willy. We won't spend money on those that are not interested. We'll use all our resources to those that are really interested and show that interest. So that's why it's so important that you are here today. Because you are showing that interest, you are connecting to the future of the company, and we will invest on that. So this is the part I think is very important about this career there, and that's why I'm so happy that we're launching this. We are constantly looking for talent, and this is the last message I want to transmit to you before we kick off officially this. We're not looking for skills. Skills can be learned. You're born with talent. And every single person in this company is very talented. That's why we selected you. That's why you are at Globant. Every single person here has a uniqueness factor that we know and we understand. And we want you to grow based on that. So with that, I would like to, kick off this event officially. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for selecting Globant. Thank you for listening to those that are interested in their future career at Globant. And thank you for, being great Globers. I want to hand it over now to Gilbert to ask you some questions, because every time I ask questions, nobody has questions. So I'm tired about that. And I will... You have a question? Okay.
To any of you, what dreams and goals inspire you 14 years ago? And if you dreamed that you were going to be here projecting, and how do you see the future back there?
Well, 14 years ago, we had no clue about anything. We only knew that we wanted to do something big. We only knew that we wanted to innovate on each thing that we did. That was what happened. Then the result of that is something that we're living today, but I would strive on the importance that whatever you do, whatever small task you need to have to do, or you are doing, or you are executing, there's an opportunity to do something innovative or to do it in a different way. And that's what we strive at Globant. And that's what we thought 14 years ago. So at that time, I remember that we were seeing like a massive ocean of competition, saying, how we will differentiate in this massive place? How we will, compete against India, and all the Indian IT outsourcers? They are massive. They have much bigger relationships than we may have in the whole lives. But we still did it. And the vision at that time was, we need to do something different, and we need to position the company in a different place. And it took us a while until we discovered which was the game. So again, innovating and innovation on every step of the company in the last 14 years. And you can see it from our studio model, from how we organize our agile pods, on our offices. I just came back from India. We were with Giver in India. I'm really amazed. I'm really amazed about what we're doing there, the quality of the team, the quality of the people. And we talk a lot about this. They talk about, and they are recruiting in India in this same way. They are talking about the relevance of the career of the people in India. While they stay at the big Tatas, Infosys, Cognizant, Wipros, whatever, they will keep on doing that old traditional stuff. If they come to Globant, they will start playing the new and next generation game. And this is about. And the beauty about the business in which we are is that we don't need to work forever on the same project. I mean, we are free enough to say, you know what, I want to change from this customer to this other customer. And you know what, I want to change my technology. I want to do something different now. I want to become a project manager. I want to change industries. I want to, instead of working for entertainment, I want to work for travel industry. Or instead of working for high tech, I want to work for oil companies. All those opportunities are in a single place. And that's the beauty about the business we have. We don't need to be forever, drowned into the, let's do an online travel agency forever. Or let's do a giant marketplace forever. We have hundreds or thousands of projects, hundreds of customers to select the future of our career every single day. And that's a unique opportunity we have in a world-class company and in an environment which is...
Trace back to when I was 12 years old, things that I was doing there were essentially key for me to be where I am today. So now that I have two daughters, I invest quite a lot of time in trying to say, hey, how you behave and decisions you make, what's going to really affect what you do. So that's what I would like to add. And also, perhaps Martin said, you can, when we created this company, we were thinking on defining two things. The first one was that we were creating a big multinational firm coming out of a country that when we started here in a bar 2 blocks from here, we didn't see any multinationals surviving in this country for the last 50 years. The youngest one was 50 years old. Everyone else had disappeared. The second thing that we decided to do is to defy the fact that everything had to be done in a large urban center as it was Buenos Aires. So the 4 founders of Globant, we all came from inner cities. And we wanted to change that. We didn't want people to actually have to come to Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, New York, to become somebody on their careers. We wanted to bring opportunities and to be in the business of connecting opportunities, bringing opportunities to where people wanted to live in exchange of exporting software. So that will give you this opportunity that Martin was explaining, that on one single place you can have an amazing array of experiences. But also, Globant now has grown and we are in 14 countries, 40 delivery centers. So you have the opportunity to actually go somewhere else, which is also key to your development. So once you have seen the world from another angle and from another place, you start to see how smaller the world looks and how you can also dare to create a Globant in the future. You know, I like to say that the actual impact of Globant is not Globant per se, but actually perhaps dozens of companies that will be created by people who, being here, have been exposed to other cultures, newer technologies, you know, and were able to learn how to do that. So I hope that your life here at Globant is actually a significant one for the development of your career, because that's something that you will carry with you forever.
I always like to, you know, kind of like make images on what is career development. In the old companies or the old way, like Martin was saying before, I think that the best way that represented career growth was the figure of an escalator. I think like nowadays, you need to be a surfer in order to be successful in companies. So Guiber, I know that you love surf. So what can you tell us about surfing, being successful, constant change, and what advice would you give?
Well, let's have a seat and have a talk. So, because so we can devote some time. Yeah, I remember I grew up in Mar del Plata. You know, for the ones that are not here, I call it the California of the Pampas. Doing a lot of outdoors, watching Cousteau documentaries. You know, I wanted to be an oceanographer. I also wanted to be a software engineer, and I also like parties, so I wanted to be a diplomat. I knew that they threw huge parties. So one thing that I always wanted to do is I took very seriously the process of selecting what to do. You know, I believe that the first thing that people should have is a clear passion. So I took not only one, but two vocational consultings, and they all said, okay, Guibert, you are good for the three of them. So I actually enrolled in oceanography and software engineering. And thanks God, you know, with the Mandarin newspaper, you know, they closed the oceanography career that same summer. But it was, you know, as I enter software engineering, one thing that I wanted to do is always to excel on what I was doing. So I remember I was the first person to actually get graduated on the two orientations of my career in the university. There were two, so I said, okay, why? You're going to be better if you do both. So it looked natural. Then, at the end of the career, I needed to do a thesis. So, and in Tandil, where I studied, and where we have an office, the thesis is pretty heavy. So it takes typically 1 to 2 years of work in order for you to graduate after you have ended up all the study. And I choose to come, you know, at one point I had an offer to come to work for IBM here, next door, in that building over there. I can see the window of what it was, my desk from here. So it's a nice turnaround, and I remember that one of the things that I did was, first of all, they gathered a lot of clever guys from different universities and give us a lot of good technology. It was on the pre-internet days. We were having access to the internet of IBM, you know, back in 1990. So I had access. I had my car to access the office, and I went dancing, you know, because I always like to party. And so at 5 a.m. I had an idea, and I entered the office, and I I met Omid, an Iranian that was working with me. He was sleeping there on the office. I jumped him and I went and to prove my next algorithm. I was a scientific researcher working on fingerprint algorithms. So it was very entrepreneurial, the fact that we were really loved what we were doing. And that's very important. If you don't feel passion for what you do, don't stay there a second, okay? Change it. Perhaps you can do something next door, you know, you can choose another project. The other thing that we did was in every lunch we were having conversations, and we were bringing down ideas. So I remember I read a Scientific American magazine article about how computers could create caricatures automatically. And so I threw on a lunch and I said, perhaps guys, we could use this fact. You know, caricatures are typically recognizing predominant features of your face. We could use these to actually recognize faces. And we kicked off a project on face recognition back in 1990. It was amazing. We digitalized the faces of 2,000 employees of IBM Argentina. So it was very interesting. But what I learned from there is the importance of the space where you are. You know, the fact that you can have a multicultural and multi-talented environment where you will be challenged. So I believe that's also very important. That's something that we also did here at Globant. You can meet a lot of different people. I don't know. I don't want to take...
No, it's fine. Let's go ahead and open up for some questions from the audience. Obviously, you guys here in the room can also raise your hand and ask a question.
So we got a lot of questions. Some of them are too specific, so we will answer them later on. I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. I'm People Career Manager, Adriana. So one of the questions first, someone said that he's willing to learn about EA, what you mentioned before, so how can he do it? And I think we can answer that later on. But one thing that they say here is that, how do you envision our future now? What is the analog of the vision that day to today? So what's the future?
It's challenging. Just 2 hours ago, with Martin, we had a call with a French guy based out of Luxembourg. He has created the first recognized music composer built on AI. So what they did is they fed these algorithms a lot of music scores from Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, and others. And essentially, they've been able to teach a computer on how to compose music that looks tremendous. You know, it sounds great. I remember the first time that Martin mentioned that to me was like, I don't know, 2 months ago. I went back home and I said, guys, I said to my girls, I said, you need to listen to this. Now, the world we are living is really, really challenging. This is extremely serious. So, people who are able, what will defend our careers in the future is to have the skills that are above, that puts you in the top of the hierarchy. That's how it looks. We just came from India and I saw a lot of poor people and I said, these people won't stand a chance. They don't have the skills to actually defend themselves. And that may happen increasingly to more and more people as algorithms takes over what we are doing. So the only way to defend yourself is to actually acquire certain knowledge and also to understand that you need to understand why to use it. A lot of people get in love with technology. And one thing that I believe that I have done well is not to be in love with technology. I've been programming in about 20 different programming languages all my life. So one thing that I did is to be able to jump from one to another, one learning what I needed to learn, but technology has been moving me as if I was in one of these belts that you have on the airport that allows you to go faster, So you need to understand what technology is able to do. That's one thing. And then how to apply it to transform what we are doing. So technology has changed a lot. And now, I like to say that on 1980s, it was a personal productivity tool. In the 90s, was an enterprise productivity tool when computers got connected with networks. At the end of the 90s, it was information accessing tool and a communications tool with the advent of email. But it was in the year 2000, 2005, approximately by the creation of Globant, that technology reached our pockets and becomes the most humanistic tool the man has known. So now we are able to do a lot of different things because we have technology. We can connect to someone, that is thousands of miles away, That was a power of God, centuries ago. We now know that we can enter a certain restaurant knowing that it's a perfect restaurant for me because someone else said it. So these are superpowers. So essentially, you need to understand that in order to use technology for what technology is being used today, you need to become an observer. You need to become a sociologist, a psychologist. You need to understand how design plays a role so your product will be successful. But now we are moving that from even that revolution into a cognitive revolution in which we will see a lot of algorithms performing things much better than what we do. And that's a challenge. I believe it will present a challenge at the personal level. So this year, we expect every single Glober to go through a proper training on artificial intelligence. Now, our artificial intelligence studio is preparing it, so it will be released in the next few months, a few days. Then, for you to understand what technology means, what artificial intelligence means, and where can it be applied, and then for the remaining ones, the ones that wants to go deeper, you will also have the opportunity to be trained and to participate into projects. One of the things that's happening with AI is moving so quickly that our customers are not even recognizing that that's happening. So one thing that will happen is that we'll need to be far more leading our customers than what it was perhaps 10 years ago. Actually, that has been happening. We are leading now our customers much more than what we did 10 years ago. But that will only increase. The other thing that will happen is that despite the fact that we are more powerful because of the use of technology, collectively, we need to be smarter. Until now, we have seen organizations being managed by hierarchical structures, management theory inherited from the 20th century. We have made a poor adoption of technology. So technology is there for you to invoice, for you to know how much you spend, or for you to know and communicate with a friend. As you know, Globant is going beyond that. And our objective and our belief is that by the use of technology, we can overcome many of the limitations that most organizations have to make sense. So bureaucracy, fear, power gets in the middle of us making organizations that actually deliver delight to consumers. That happens with our banks, our telcos, our airlines, whatever. It may happen to us as well. But what we are trying to do is to develop technology that will allow us to be smarter. So in our Future of Organization studio, we are building an operating system for the organization of the future. Essentially, it's creating technology to be able to foster certain behaviors, and using those behaviors create a smarter organization. So Start Me Up is an example of that. And we are having meetups to bring down silos. We have colloquia to understand who knows what, which is also a challenge. We'll see that a lot of your career will depend on the position you are assigned. And sometimes, if you let someone else decide for you where to be assigned, that's a problem. Because I don't know much about what Martin knows, and Martin may do something else to what I typically know. People is usually associated with titles. So if you said that you're a marketing manager, surely you know about marketing, but don't know much more. We don't know about your wishes. We don't know about your past experience. We don't know about your, anything. So we are also shaping organizations that needs to be far more entrepreneurial, and where you, with more autonomy, and where you will need to be far more active into getting your career, and that's actually what we want at Globant.
Also, we'd like to add into that, Giver, is that technology always has been replacing low-skilled workers. And for the first time, after AIBA and many other examples of AIBA is the online music composition the artificial intelligence music composition system is starting to replace high-skilled workers. We need to be careful with that. There's a lot of things that we need to do, so that's why we need to embrace that, and we cannot live as seeing that or watching that. We need to embrace that. We need to make it happen, and use the power of all the customers we have to really create projects on that and really make it happen. So that's the only thing I wanted. High-skilled workers are also now being replaced.
So I have several questions, but I think that I can resume them in at least one question. That people knows, as you said before, that we have a lot of opportunities, that you can do many, many things, and you can follow your passions, as you mentioned, and that's really, really important. But meanwhile, they sometimes feel, and I can tell, they feel frustrated because sometimes it takes time to do that. So you say you should stay relevant, and I think that's a good word to say it. But how do you feel people can stay relevant? Meanwhile, they do what they had to do. And I'm talking about any type of career change. When you're going to go from BA to product, when you're going to go from developer to another kind of developer, or to go into UX, sometimes those changes take time. So since you have built a company and it took you a long time, how did you do it? And how was that you wait for those changes, or what did you do to stay relevant?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that, unfortunately, I have bad news for you guys. The bad news is that nothing is made in 1 year or two. I mean, and any development takes years. And we need to use that also to think at country level. I don't want to enter into politics here, but at country level, Argentina could be a powerhouse or be on the top 10 in the world as a country, and we're in the top 150 because of short-term thinking and the absence of long-term thinking. But notice that long-term thinking requires time. But during that time, you need to be relevant, and you need to stay relevant. So my initial reaction to the question is, stay relevant is an attitude. You need to be open-minded, you need to be curious, you need to be all the time trying to figure out what's next, because there's a lot of things happening out there, and unfortunately they are happening at a speed that exceeds our capacity of learning all of them. So stay relevant for me is working at Globant and creating Globant. That's why I'm staying here. I'm staying here because I could have done many things. I don't need to work. I could, do other things, but I stay here because I know that first, being surrounded by smart people is important. Being surrounded, in my case, by young people is even more important. And being surrounded by hundreds of customers and projects that are world-class is even more important because I learn from each of them and I have opportunities to each of them. So I think that this is very different when you're talking about some other companies that has like a different mindset or a different horizon of doing things. So that's why I stay here. Although Giver and I could have, even Gishe Willy could have leave and do something else, but we're still here building Globant because we love this and we know that this is the best way of staying relevant and the best way to keep our minds updated onto the last possible version, all right?
Yes, patience is a very important skill or competence that you need to develop, but always in a proactive way. Patience doesn't mean that you need to wait and see. You need to do things. You need to prepare yourself. You need to study. You need to talk to people, talk to mentors, talk to guys who know more than you, who have built or run through any different experience, and you are going to be prepared because, when the opportunity arises, which may happen at any moment, many times unexpectedly, you need to be prepared and be aware to take the opportunity. So it is very important that the patience is accompanied by a proactive attitude of being relevant all the time, because otherwise the opportunities will pass and you will not be able to take them, or probably even not being able to notice that the opportunity was there. So being proactive is very, very important, and develop and invest in yourself.
I would like to add that while it may take some time, perhaps, to leave your current engagement and go to a next project, it is nothing in comparison to, what could happen in an organization that perhaps uses technology but doesn't develop technology for the sake of it. So let me give you an example. You go to a bank. The bank, someone else has decided the technology. It has been there for 20 years, 30. The business doesn't change that much. Their business is to get more money out of the customer, not necessarily to develop better technology. Actually, they are pretty bad at that. Same thing could happen to, a company that has whose whole business to create one or two products. So you are navigating and surfing whatever that is, and that's, and there is a very interesting curve of how interesting it is to be on surfing a certain project. So for example, when you start a project, the interest is fantastic. You are building the next big thing. Eventually, that next big thing is being released. So now, that company needs to make some money out of their investment. So a month later, they will start building new functionality, and then building some new functionality, and then building some new functionality. But essentially, we are seeing that our interest will be on being always on the creative part of it. If you join a bank, you join whatever, an online company who has one product, you will be running a business that is already running, not necessarily creating new stuff. So it may be good for the organization you are going, but it won't be that good for your company for your career as well. So here what we have is we are executing around 500 projects at any given moment. So, the fact that you cannot move to the one that you want immediately may be related to the fact that you need to deliver and to be responsible, which is also very important to your career development. But then you have plenty of opportunities out there, and be careful to be extremely vocal and to say, hey, don't forget about me, I want to do this. We want people who are able to raise their hand and be proactive.
Thanks. I have one question that is more related to career days itself. It says, what are the career days about, and what can I do these days to boost my career? I'm sorry.
Well, Career Days is actually having two of the founders of the company talking in front of you guys, explaining why developing your career is important. Obviously, this is the first session, but the rest of the event is designed in different talks with different peoples that are going to talk about what is the career look like in sales, in project management or operations, also in technology, different technology practices. So you will have different practice leads, studio partners talking about what they are seeing, what are the skills and what are the attitudes and what are the things that you need to develop in those different tracks. How they are seeing also the future in the different technologies. So this is the Career Days. It's an event where you can when you can take advantage of learning from experienced people and also from learning on how to develop the career in Globant, and also combining it with the different tools and resources and the specific processes that are designed for you to grow in your career.
We have a lot of questions. Should I keep going? Yes. Okay.
By the way, not just you, but
Okay, maybe we can ask if people, because I have here.
Yeah, these questions are coming from the people in the line from all over the countries. If you have questions here in Laminar, please feel free. Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk.
Anda tirando otra, si no.
part of your career is also to speak out loud.
Yeah.
This is an exercise.
I will share something. Mostly, it's not probably a question, but just to reinforce what Guiver and Martin and Guille have been told. So recently, I had the opportunity to travel to Singapore. Quite a strange travel, but it was a really good experience, because a financial institution, a big one, will ask us to share in first person what we already deliver for another financial institution in Europe. So it was weird, because we were just in this company, and in front of this company we have a huge building that says TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. And next to the door was another building saying Accenture. And so for a moment we ask ourselves, what have been done there, traveling so far? They have some kind of potential partner just across the street. And the answer was pretty clear, and the answer that the customer itself gave us is, you are talking about something that you already delivered. Everybody is talking about a lot of things, like artificial intelligence, doing digital business or digital journeys for financial institutions, but not everybody is able to deliver. So I ask you to come here because we want to understand how you are able to deliver that things that everybody is promising, but not everybody is able to give to our customers. So this is something that I believe is a good thing to share. The other one is my experience as being a young, or kind of a young Glober. I joined the company like 2.5 years ago. Even if we have mentors and we have people that's working very close to us, I found that Globan is pretty open to receive ideas, it's pretty open to don't wait for somebody telling you, even most senior people, what you need to do. It's pretty open I'm it's very welcome that you can bring your learns from other companies, your ideas for do something new. I'm a clear example that we have the opportunity of being an outsider, I would say, drive a studio. I'm pretty proud of the team that have been built and also have the opportunity to grow that studio from 50 to more than 300 people today. So I believe, I think that those kind of experience, probably not everybody has the opportunity that Globan gave me, but most of us have those opportunities. The problem is that we don't see those opportunities, so we don't know that opportunities are here around the building, around the chat, around the hangout, around everybody. So it's not a question, but it's something that I would like to share.
Thanks. Yes.
Gaston, let me ask you a question. Where were you working before?
Before Globan, I worked for Microsoft.
How big was Microsoft?
Microsoft at the time I left the company was 120 people.
So you're running 3 times
Microsoft
yes. In 2.5 years.
Yes. Yes.
So I believe that one of the important things that I would like to realize is that Globant has, in our short life, has proven to be one of the fastest growing companies all over the world. So we are a case study of the World Economic Forum, the Harvard, Stanford, MIT. And the reason for that is we have something that makes us unique, and that's our growth. And our growth is propelled by the fact that not only we are connecting and have established a virtuous cycle of reputation with our customers, so good customers bring other good customers, and that in fact brings more customers, and that brings growth, but also because we have one attitude that is important. We are challenging. We dare to dream that we will be the #1 software company on earth. And I actually believe that. So there is hardly a company out there that is serving the kind of customer serving, that they are doing it in the emerging technologies and that are growing as fast as we are. Because now I report to you, you are one of the founders. You know what? I bear the same title, the same position than the first day at Globant. But at that day, I was managing perhaps 10 people.
Don't believe is just take your iPhone and go into the pictures of your iPhone, if you have an iPhone, or if you have Google Photos, pretty much the same. Click on the search box and type dog or perro, whatever language you have. And then all the images, that belongs to your dogs or dogs that you picture will appear. Well, that's artificial intelligence applied to image recognition. And in essence, there's always, today in the morning we had a discussion around a very bold idea that we're discussing at the top of the company, saying, we know who our most valuable players are. So in essence, we could define a set of questions, let's say 100 questions, for those most valuable players to answer, and train an artificial intelligence machine that will allow you to detect in the future when you're making an interview, and if you're a gatekeeper, to understand which is the likelihood of that person becoming a most valuable partner, a most valuable player or not. And I'm applying that to recruiting. Now, let's go to design. What about if we train a machine to understand what we think is a great interface when we're designing an interface? In the same way the IVA guys train on how is good music, well, we teach the machine what is a good design. And then when we're doing a design, we try that design to understand if that design is good or bad. So I'm traveling across like many different examples, and my answer to that non-believer will be to keep on going with examples until the guy gets convinced. Because there are hundreds of examples where you can apply it. Starting from your smartphone, going to the most complex work of understanding if a design that we did, a look and feel that we did, is good or bad. And we can keep on going. If you keep digging on the internet, you will find something very weird, which is machines are able to program without the help of a human. And there's a couple of examples there that with a very small programming language of 6 instructions, machines are able pretty much to do whatever you want them to do if you leave them enough time to get there. Which is pretty weird, machines programming themselves for what you want to do without the intervention of a human. Which raises the question, okay, what's next? The Google CEO saying, now we have an artificial intelligence engine that can create artificial intelligence much better than a human. Wow. Is that singularity or what? So for those non-believers, you can tell all these examples and many more that I know, and they will get convinced. Which was the second question?
When it's too far, I mean, can we imagine we can develop?
Oh, yeah. Going back to that, we are specifically going into real-time image recognition on a project that we're doing for a supermarket here or for anybody. Basically, it's a frictionless experience to go to the supermarket. So you go into an office we have in North Park, and you will see a supermarket. Say, these guys became crazy. Now we're in the supermarket business. No, it's not. We are having cameras there, and we recognize people, and then we recognize what they pick, and then whatever they pick gets into the app, and then when you check out, the app charges you in your credit card. So we are already in those projects, investing in those projects, and in the labs we have many other projects. Now we're seeing, like, for example, selection processes. You know, people that select fruits, different size of fruits or conditions of fruit to have real quality on the fruits. That's also something that can be done by artificial intelligence, or even managing the air conditioning systems of this building, which are really crappy, by the way. It's very hot here. So artificial intelligence is everywhere, and at Globant, I'm committed, and the whole board is committed to take this company as a leader on applying artificial intelligence. We're not looking to create the next Watson. Watson is a marketing platform. It's not an artificial intelligence platform. There are hundreds of tools out there, hundreds of algorithms out there that you can select and use and emulate what Watson does, or train them for doing things much more amazing than win Jeopardy, all right? So I'm absolutely convinced that we are in that path, and we will make it happen. And as anything in life, when you see a change coming, you have 2 options. You hide, or you get it. And we choose to get it.
Whoa. Okay, so I have a thought rather than a question. I was wondering, what are the means? I think trainings are essential for our development. So what are the things, how do we surround ourselves with curious and smart people? So I work here in Buenos Aires in communications, but how do I get in contact with people from Colombia, UK, that they can teach something to me? And also, I think that it's important to work on a blend between all the disciplines. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I can attend like a training like technology for dummies or something like that. And also, not only to think about artificial intelligence, but also to think about, I don't know, how to blend all the skills in the company in all the areas so I can apply, I don't know, design thinking, artificial intelligence, and everything on my daily work.
Oh, there were way too many.
I want to mention that 480 persons are in the line, beside the one that we are
480.
here.
Well, that's a lot.
480, yeah.
So if we get to 500, I tell a joke.
Yeah.
No.
I just want to tell you that what you answer is going to get to a lot of people.
Okay. So there are many things. You know, you have here at Globant, if you want to know who knows what, there are leaders, like for example, studio partners who can connect you. There are tools like Colloquia, which is a knowledge base of who knows what. It's artificial intelligence that is saying, Julie, you need to meet Martin because he knows certain things about that. But I would say that perhaps if you are passionate about something, the first thing I would do is to create a project at the labs around your passion, and they will help you collect a lot of people who are passionate about this space, create a hackathon, create a flip thinking talk, you can create an event, you can do whatever you fancy. We believe that people should act and as owners, own the place. So you can, you feel free to organize whatever you really want. We want to encourage a space of continuous learning. The second thing that I wanted to know, and you know, Julie, you are one of the most well-regarded Globers. You know, we know that because of Start Me Up. So you are always high on the ranks. So that means that, you know, no. So it means that reputation is important for you. You know, I guess. You don't care about reputation? No, I know that you don't look and you don't do that. But people, last week I was talking to some guys in India, and they were the guys who were rewarded the most stars and also being recognized as most valuable players. And I say, do you care about being here? Oh, yeah. Do you care about your reputation? Oh, yeah. And why? They couldn't organize the thought, but at one point I said, you know, because it's actually, your reputation will give you an open doors for your future. So collectively, if we think about that, our collective reputation as a company also affects our future. So, you know, being able to bring the best talent, being able to bring your friend who you know is good, being able to post a good review, rather than asking for the guy that we fire, you know, from the company to put a review, you know, being proactive and saying, you know, I like this place, we're going to make it better, I want better people, so I'm going to help increase the reputation of our place. Is also being important in caring about the kind of environment that you are building. So I would be extremely, it's very important for us to actually to be careful about the environment we create. And you need to be a leader on the creation of that environment. So create something that really will resonate with people, that will help people to become better. There are many ways to do it, and we are open to ideas from anyone.
And I think you mentioned something important, which is the opportunities we have in Globant of getting in touch with people from different nationalities, cultures, and different specialties, and like, you know, experts on user experience, different technologies, sociologists, I mean, different types of profiles that really also give us a lot of diversity and allow us to learn. I think this is very key also for career development.
There was someone who put it, we have some, YouTube have some problems, but they keep writing things. And one of the persons say regarding what you said about being surrounded by smart people, she put there, it is easier to become a better person if you're surrounded by better people than you. So just to add what they said. We have a lot of more questions. You should let me know when we stop, but I keep two more. Okay. We put the S at the end, career dates. So, which skills we need to prioritize next years? I think you said a lot of things. Which skills we need to prioritize the next years?
I think the best possible thing that you can do these days, given the speed of change, and the only constant thing is the accelerating rate of change, is to learn fast. And I would strive that because, you know, fast learners are going further than anybody else in this world. So it's not about skill. I think about, I love to talk about supra skills. This is a supra skill. It's not a normal skill. It's part of a talent of a person. So the faster learner you are, the further you go. So I think that's my take, independently on any technology or any artificial intelligence or any other thing. Fast learners. Be fast learners.
And also fast unlearners.
Yes, I would like to recommend something. Earlier this morning, I went for a run, and as every morning that I go to run, which are not all of them, okay? Yes, I use an app that's called Blinkist. Do you know it? Today, while running in about 20 minutes to half an hour, I read a 500 pages book. So, or at least, I was able to listen to the key points of Homo Deus from Noah Jerabi. It's a very interesting book about what's coming, how algorithms are going to take over. So this is allowing me to at least know from, you know, like if I were jumping, you know, if I were a ballerina, you know, not touching the floor, you know, is to fly over the concepts of certain books. So today I almost read 2 books in 45 minutes, or at least I didn't read, but listened to the summaries. So, but that's, unfortunately, that's what's happening. You know, how many of you no longer see a recipe and rather go to a 15 seconds tasty video? Do you know Tasty? Okay. So we are living in a world where we will need to snacks of information. We will need to be comfortable with that. And then perhaps go deeper to something. At the same time that I'm doing this, I'm taking a course on machine learning, an online course on Coursera. Fantastic course, you know, I recommend it, from Andrew Ng. And you know, my wife sees me, you know, now I need to go study. And I open the computer and I'm studying, you know. So you need to, as Martin said, it's a supra skill. You need to be good at learning. Also, another thing that 2 areas of interest, I would say that artificial intelligence is one, behavioral science is also very important. because it connects you with the consumers and that allows you to establish a higher level of dialogue with your customers.
And also, the other super skill that we can talk about is emotional intelligence. Is how you put teams together, how you connect with teams, how you connect with the other. The single, idea of how the others are perceiving me, or what they think about what I do, and how I perceive myself, so on and so forth. So I think that's another thing in which people need to do a lot and to build better teams. Let's go to the second question and we can finish.
Okay. I'm sorry, I was paying attention. But there was another question that you already answered when you answered this, that someone asked, how would you do to detect talent within the interviews? So I think you answered part of that through this fast learning and unlearn and learn and
Yes,
emotional intelligence. But I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Yeah, of course. Look, detecting talent is something that you gain with years, but you can do it anyway, at the very beginning. And the form that I normally look at it is in many different ways, but understanding, for example, how deep a person wants to go on certain items. For example, a simple question around, what's your hobby, and going deeper into that is extremely important. Or what do you do apart from work and being with your family or whatever? Those are very important questions. But then questions around, how committed are you on the place, or how is your involvement with the activities that are happening on the place? The fact of people is really involved on what's going on and are really protagonisms of the situations is also very, very important. ¿Cómo se pone en la camiseta? No sé cómo cazzo decirlo en inglés. That's also very important. And then finally, I would say I never take skills or scores at the university, so on and so forth, as a big indication of talent. But I always take how deep people is able to go during a dialogue, how deep they can go on relationships, how connected they are with their groups. Those are, for me, strong indications of talent. And of course, how fast they can learn. One of the tricks is I normally use on interviews, which is, it's a little bit odd, but it's nice to do it, is to just go through, teach me something I don't know, period. That's a question. Surprise me, whatever. It's a hobby, it's something that you're expert at, it's something, and immediately after that question, you understand how deep is the person you're in front of. And I don't know, I could keep on going forever, but for the sake of time.
No, many times in the interview process, what I believe is you need to put the bar high, you need to make it challenging. If the guy really wants to surpass that challenge, that's good, a good indicator. Many people say, no, I don't want to be bothered with this. No, I'm not ready for this. If you're not ready for a challenge, then you are not hungry enough. Also, chances are that at one point we may find a guy who is not suitable. We have done an interview process and we really choose the wrong guy. That could happen. Never happened to us. That will happen. So what is important is not to hide that, we need to really make sure that we have the right guys on an environment and not saying, okay, now you don't want to work with us, I will leave you for the next project to actually find out what I already find out. Okay.
Can I finish making a question to any of you that wants to answer it? How far is Globant from what you expect from your careers? What can we do better to get closer to your expectations or what you think should be your expectations? Who wants to answer this?
Not a brave person?
It's going to be hard because we are a lot of people, but always take care of
Put
the
your mouth
individual.
closer to the mic, yes.
Sorry. Take notice of the individual. You should not look at us as, okay, they are the developers, they are the QC. No, they're people. So everybody is suitable for something specific. That's what I think.
No, that's great. Yeah, we try to. Sometimes it's hard, but yes, you're right. 100%. Good idea. What else? Chan.
Okay, maybe some hard statement, but maybe we can revisit some of the internal tools. I mean, we have a lot of experts, but some tools sometimes not, I think, don't provide the appropriate velocity on some feedbacks or some detection of problems, internal problems. So I think we can do better.
I think it's the most popular question in the. Yes, thank you for that. Yes, we know that, and we know it's very hard to have the perfect tools. I always remember that, you know, the NASA sent a rocket to the moon without a single computer. So it's not that we have the perfect tools. We need to improve them, and we will improve them. It will never be the perfect tools, but we need to do the job anyway. But I understand what you're saying, and we will take, you know, and we are taking that very seriously. You know, I normally say to our, you know, team developing that, listen, guys, if you become like another, you know, CIO or Chief Information Officer from a big bank, I don't want you here in the company anymore. I mean, we need to be dynamic. We have a priority. We need to do it fast. You need to parallelize, you know, as much as you can. We are a company of developers. We have no excuses for not doing the functionality we need fast. So we're working on that. Hope to become better. But yes, it's a very interesting improvement field.
Okay, I'm kind of new in the company. I am here, I don't know, 2 months ago. And I think we should get to know more the company, not about the company. Like, I'm in communications. I have read a million times about the founders, about the years, about our clients, about everything. But I've never been into studios. I don't know how you do that. And I'm interested in that. Like, I study communications. My fields have nothing to do with engineering or artificial intelligence or machine learning.
You will, remember.
But
you will become an expert on artificial intelligence.
But I want to do that. Like, I want to know how you do it. Like, I want to see. I think that, well, I expect I'm not the only one. I don't know.
That's a smart look. You know, knowing more about the company and not information from the company is something that takes time. But yes, you're right. We need to maybe to shift what you're doing, guys, in communication more towards that end. For example, you know, doing sessions with newcomers, with studio partners, and people that has a lot of experience on how the company works, or, you know, getting embedded into processes that really make things happen. Or yeah, absolutely, totally agree with the idea.
Sometimes we receive like people to visit the offices, and we can be tour guides at Globant.
Why not?
But no, we are, but we don't know that much about the company. Like, you have an idea, and maybe you say, hey, where can I share my idea so it becomes an app and makes everything simpler, for example.
Waiting for it. m@globant.com, g@globant.com. And this, but seriously, you know, we're that kind of company that we don't care about, you know, hierarchies. We just, We just are very transparent. You know, you can call us, you can drop a WhatsApp or send an email. Maybe take us a little bit more to answer an email than a WhatsApp, but we do that all the time. And to be honest, we have been talking about this, like, you know, send me an email. But people don't do it. They don't do it. I mean, we receive 1 or 2 emails per year with a suggestion or a request or something like that from you guys.
Okay, hi guys. I'm constantly agree with all the culture that you promote on the company. That feels great. I'm almost sure that almost everyone in the company, if not everyone, feels the same way. The drive you instill in the company members, in all the Glovers, is great. The only suggestion that I would make, that I feel kind of afraid of suggesting this, because I feel like someone will look me bad for saying this, is that we have some kind of weak spot on the Globant's retention policies for the people. I do believe that there's a lot of hunger in most of the people that works here, and that is awesome. But at a certain point, depending on different countries or the career path that they are going, they feel like they are not progressing at the pace that they expect to. As soon as they are learning, right? So, and it seems like it's more or less a common point in the company that most of the people that are leaving the company for different reasons, I've heard that are mostly economical reasons, not because of the culture, because as I said, everyone agrees on the culture of the company, and it feels like it's one of the most important reasons for why people would like to stay here, because it's great working here. It's awesome, the culture that you have here. But only having hunger to be better should not get to a point to get someone starving, let's say, right?
I don't believe starve is a question.
Yeah,
Has
that's a
nothing to
figure
do.
of speech,
But
right?
I get your point. I understand. I see the numbers. I totally aware of how things happen. Having said that, I'm a strong believer that people is free to choose their careers and is free to choose their options. And I'm totally convinced that those that bet in the long term are the winners. Those that just live because of 20, 30% more in salary are not the winners. And I think that we love to see when people leave the company because of economical reasons, because you know what? What's a senior guy here? He's an architect outside there. What's a mid-level guy here is a senior guy out there, and we know that. Because we are playing in the A-League. And most of the people who are losing here are not going to the A-League, are going somewhere else. So what you're seeing as a change in money is indeed a jump on seniority that you can get out there, which is fine. I mean, for us, it's okay. I mean, if you don't see that the real world is what we see here at Globant in terms of seniority, and you can sell yourselves much better somewhere else, because here we're not able to see it yet, maybe next year or maybe in 6 months. then that's fine. So I don't see that. I don't see that and the numbers as a pain. I see that as a natural process that the company has in its growth. And the last thing I want to say is that we need to be very conscious about the fact that the great culture and everything that you were talking is built on top of having a profitable company that can, afford to do a lot of those things, all right? So if we don't have that profitable company, we don't have nothing. We don't exist. We cannot outperform nothing. We cannot have a dream. We cannot have anything. So the first thing we need to take care as a group is how healthy is the company. Globant is a very healthy company. So that's like the first thing. And then the other careers, the career stuff, there's some people that are making the wrong choices. I know that. But I'm happy for that to happen too, because it's part of the game. We know it's part of the game. And we know that people here get connected to the best project with the best. Imagine, you can put into your CV in 3-4 years in Globant working for Google, for Electronic Arts, for Southwest Airlines and Disney. Wow. That's a massive CV. And we understand that. And the last thing I will tell you is the kind of talent we are growing here is so demanded out there that it's absolutely natural that people will hunt people here, and in many cases, they will overpay. But we are very aware about that, and we won't overpay. Because for me, the most important thing is the company is healthy. So to your point, I agree, I know the numbers. My policy and the policy of the company is the company first, then the individuals within the company, all right? And everything is to make Globant a much better place every day. And we know that in the process there will be some winners and losers, because that's life. But we keep on thinking that it's the best possible decision we could have taken. Inflation doesn't help. Inflation is a nightmare for everyone. And there are many other factors, but we believe we're building the best possible place to work. And we are building the best future careers in the whole market, and the best current careers in the whole market. So that's our value proposition. Our value proposition sometimes is not just money. It's your payment plus all the opportunities to grow, all the customers you are exposed, all the freedom you have to jump from one place to the other. You can raise your hand and say, listen, I'm tired about the project. You get together with your project manager, and about 2-3 weeks, if you are good, then you will be moved to the next project. And those things, those kind of liberties that we strive for, that kind of autonomy, is very difficult to find somewhere else. And to your point of the being treated as people, the best thing that we do to treat people as people is let them choose. I give you as much autonomy as you want in every aspect of Globant. You can choose your career, you can choose where you want to go, where you want to stay, at which office you want to work, when you want to come at work. We don't control pretty much anything in terms of when you arrive to the office, when you leave to the office. We just give you freedom, 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 and freedom. And we expect in exchange of that, your careers to move and to grow.
Adding to that, despite the fact of what inflation affects and how it may be affected in certain locations, every month our recruitment team is bringing people in excess of 200 engineers per month. So that gives us an idea of how attractive we are to talent. At the same time, I believe, if you are an organization that needs to overpay a certain person to attract because they don't have the ability to attract talent, I would be highly suspicious about what you will do there.
Last question or no? Thank you, Martin and Giver, for sharing more than 1 hour with more than 500 Globers. And great commitment from you guys. Always talking to investors, customers, clients, so it's great to have them here talking about careers and the importance of career development. So thank you very much. Thanks for everyone who stayed late in different countries, and let's hope you keep enjoying the events in the next talks. Thank you very much.
If you don't mind, before you leave, can we take a picture? Why are you making fun of me? Go in front. Let's make a picture. Yes, you can make a selfie of your